Morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me this morning at your forum. It is an absolute pleasure to be sharing with you and learning with all of you as well as we go through this very important topic of creating a disability confident Australia. So as I said, my name is Amber Tratter. I'm a Senior Relationship Manager with the Australian Network on Disability, and my pronouns are she, her. In my role, I work with many large and medium organisations in helping them to build disability confidence throughout their organisation so they feel that they're in a position to welcome people with disability into all aspects of their business. So I'd like to share with you in my little bit of time this morning how you as well might be able to take some tips and tricks away to further some of those learnings. Before I begin, I too would like to do an acknowledgement of country and acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I would like to acknowledge the lands on which I meet today. So I'm on the lands of the Wurundjeri people on the Kulin Nation. I'm down in Victoria and just out of a lockdown and working from my lovely home office with my two sausage dogs, who will probably say hello at some point today, potentially a delivery from a mail person at some times. But this is all about understanding that we are human beings, not robots behind a computer screen. And that's the excitement and amazing part of being part of human diversity. Just a little bit to set the scene about the Australian Network on Disability and who we are. So we're a national membership-based for-purpose organisation that supports organisations to advance the inclusion of people with disability in all aspects of business. So we work and tie in with the International Labour Organisation globally and are part of the Global Business and Disability Network. So Australia is the peak advisory for businesses, and we interpret best practice, policy and procedure from the United Nations to what that means for Australian businesses given our legislation and obligations. Our vision is to create a disability confident Australia, and we believe that the best way to make change and impact is to actually work with employers across Australia who employ people with disability. Our mission is to provide expert advice and services on disability to employers across Australia. So we work with about 50-50 public and private, but we also are supporting and working with not-for-profit as well, as of course we are a not-for-profit organisation ourselves. So we're trying to build disability confidence, but I wanted to give you the definition of really what that means. So it means that an organisation is able to anticipate that some of your colleagues and your employees or your visitors, your customers or clients will have disability, and you as an individual feel positive about your ability to respond fairly and respectfully to accommodate requirements. So disability confidence can be for an individual where you feel really confident to have a conversation and ask people what they need in order to perform at their best. But Australian Network and Disability are working at that organisational level, so we can ensure that organisations are disability confident and have the right behaviours, attitudes, systems and knowledge to ensure that everyone can be included. We do also work towards the social model definition of disability and tie in with our global convention of the United Nations. And this is really understanding and working with the philosophy that impairment is what happens to you, but disability is what we do to you. And when I say that, that's recognising that it's actually barriers in society which is stopping people with disability from being able to participate. So if we imagine a very physical barrier for this example, let's take stairs going into a building. Is it the fact that a person has cerebral palsy that's stopping them from having access to the building? Or is it the fact that we put stairs there, which is stopping that individual and no access to a ramp? So this is the thinking and philosophy in that we all have a responsibility to ensure that we're creating using universal design principles so everyone is able to participate. So have we gotten there? Have we reached that tipping point? Are Australian businesses ready to become disability confident? Well, we're getting there, but I don't think we're quite there. So we do work with about over 330 Australian businesses in becoming disability confident and employ roughly 1.8 million Australians. But we see time and time again that it's still the biggest barrier is attitudes. So attitudes of fear of saying or doing the wrong thing, So a hiring manager or a line manager or a CEO will step back for fear of saying or doing the wrong thing and will then not interact and include someone, but will unintentionally exclude someone from the conversation or employment. So what we're trying to do is really help organisations understand their obligations and also empower people with disability to understand that under the Disability Discrimination Act, people's rights are protected to be requesting those workplace adjustments, to have access to employment, education, goods, services and facilities and premises on an equitable basis as anybody else. So we really do believe that workplace adjustments are that enabling factor that enable and remove those barriers so people are able to participate. So how do we make a workplace disability confident? In my short time, I wanted to make sure you got some tips and tricks, and we believe that there are 2 foundation stones to creating a disability confident workplace. So number 1, and we've got some fantastic panel speakers on the line too, which are going to go into detail about how to do this, but is to ensure that your recruitment and selection processes end to end are barrier free and have no unintended barriers to your recruitment. So why is this important? Because we want to be able to unlock access to that hidden talent pool. If you have an inaccessible recruitment practice, maybe your virtual environment is not accessible and complying with web content accessibility guidelines for digital access, it could mean that if a person is using screen reading software to apply for that position, they're blocked out at that gate and unable to get through, and you're going to miss out on that person who has exactly the right skills and talent that you need just because your recruitment practice was inaccessible for that individual with disability. It will also help protect against risk because it will eliminate discrimination, but it will increase that positive reputation so you can be known as an employer of choice for people with disability. I know a lot of people as well who will go onto a careers page and will only apply if you talk about workplace adjustments and talk about the fact that you do have an accessible and inclusive recruitment practice. Which leads me to the second point, which is about creating a robust workplace adjustment policy and procedure. So an organisation really needs to understand that we haven't created using universal design principles in this first place, and we may have barriers stopping people from accessing our meetings or events or our training, and we do need to offer those adjustments. So a policy and procedure will really talk about the step-by-step guidelines of how an employee with disability can request an adjustment, who will approve that, and how you can get access to funding and support and reviewing to ensure that it's the right thing for that individual at all times. It is shown and proven to improve the retention rate of your employees with disability to stay with you longer. It will support the employment of talented individuals during the recruitment practice where you can offer adjustments as they're coming through. Again, it will manage risks and it will minimise cost to your organisation because you won't have those high retention rates. So how else can we support organisations? I just wanted to finish on talking about how important measurement was, because we really don't know what to change if we can't measure. So we have the Access and Inclusion Index, and we created this with our partners in the Business Disability International in the UK and with our members in Australia, so Australian businesses who wanted to know how to become disability confident. So you might have seen Index quite similar, that 100-point rating scale to understand how disability confident you are. It allows you to assess and benchmark and really understand the needs of your customers and employees. It's a whole of business approach, which goes back to my first point that I was saying, that it's everybody's responsibility to do this. If you're writing an email, if you're writing a Word document, if you're inviting someone to come to a meeting, you have responsibility for making sure that everyone can participate. So it's across the whole business, and these are the 10 areas. So commitment, premises, workplace adjustments, comms and marketing, products and services, ICT, recruitment and selection, career development, suppliers and partners, and innovation. And to finish, I thought we would give you a little tool that you can go away and use if you would like, and this is access to the Quick 10. So if you would like to just have a short assessment of where your organisation is currently at in terms of disability confidence, this Quick 10 is just an assessment for you to get a glimpse into your access and inclusion practices across those business areas. So I'll put all these links in the chat for you as well, but it's available to everyone. And it's a starting point to get a snapshot of your disability confidence. And it's a fantastic engagement tool when you download that report and you can send it to others in the business and begin that conversation. So unfortunately, maybe we scored really low in premises, use this in a conversation and understand why that's the case and what we can do to get a bit better. There's a resource that you can also look at the 5 years of the latest trends and have access to what we found across our Australian businesses and what they're working on. So I'll put that in the chat, as well as a link to further resources that can support you with some other statistics and publications. I look forward to chatting with you further on, and I'll pass to the next speaker. Thank you so much.
Terrific. Thank you so much.